Welcome to this training inside the Prime project. It's inside the work package 4. This online training it's led by CARDET and is one of 3 online trainings led by CARDET in this work package. And this one is about digital tools for project management that project staff can use when implementing inclusive mobilities.
So guys, hello and welcome everybody. I would like to start by saying that I'm very humbled to asking me to educate people similar in the arena of project management as myself, and people that have a more an intensive educational background and experiences in regards to the project management. So I'm very humbled to be part of this consortium and educating today about the project management tools. I will start by asking the rhetorical question. Did you know that 31% of projects will be shelved before they are even finished? Well, it is a fact. And as I said, PM, we know that this from first hand. I'm very happy to be here today as your trainer for the project management tools and techniques training session. My name is Konstantinos Souroulas from CARDET, and I have been managing projects as the lead person for the past 7 years in the pharmaceutical and education industry. At the same time, I have a strong background in quality control and assurance, and I'm certified as an internal auditor of quality management system and member of the project management chapter in Cyprus. So far, I have successfully managed various projects, which have given me a good understanding of the challenges project managers face, and at the same time, mentor others in the project management arena. Today's training approach focuses on the project management knowledge and tools in line with the project management professional program. I will focus mainly in the PMI book for medium and senior project managers. I have to say that although that it was dedicated only to the digital tools, we have divided and discussed it thoroughly with the rest of the group of the team in CARDET. We have decided that it is better to be everybody in line with a small basic knowledge of the project management and then proceed with the digital tools, which will be the practical session with Anna Christou. So in our session today with me, we'll cover some basic knowledge of the project management trends, some techniques which are very important. I will provide everybody and all of you the templates that are already made that can be used as a project management tools and could also use to produce your deliverables. And finally, I will close by presenting the essential features of project management tools, the digital ones, softwares, before giving the stage to Anna and proceeding with the actual tools suggestions. Now, the future of project management is bright, having evolved significantly in recent years. Successful managers now have a more innovative and expanded role beyond traditional resource organization in terms of project delivery. We have first the artificial intelligence and optimization, and of course the cloud storage that allows easily the scalability, which is considered a very impactful for the future of project management processes. Nowadays, the modern companies can no longer do without artificial intelligence. And I can say for myself as well, I use it daily, guys, to automate the processes. This is to improve and develop the performance, of course, of any projects, either this is KA1, KA2, KA3, Horizon, whatever European or other global program we are involved with. AI is the way to have always as an assistant. Now, please remember please remind me at the end of the project. I will provide also a link for the generative intelligence tutorial for project managers, which is dedicated for the project managers that are not experienced with the AI, and it is provided freely by the Project Management Institute as an additional resource and enhancement of your current skills and knowledge. Now, going to the second trend of the project management that I have found through my research is the data analytics. The data analytics are the lifeblood of future project management. Managers must leverage data insights to make fast, informed decisions. And we can see that within the implementation of any kind of project. It is and will be used in project scheduling, quality, client management, risk estimation, and many other areas. And we know this by heart. Thirdly, I will go to the project management that this may become a universally integrated process. Once more, the project management as a diploma, I would say, to some extent, part of everybody's job. And I will have to say here that PMI indicates, as I said, PMI is the Project Management Institute, that it is a global institution. It cites that 25 million of new project managers, they are needed by 2030. So you can imagine what is the demand and the impact that all the project managers can do. I want you from this slide to keep in mind that as we experience these trends, it is essential to consider how these developments impact our industry and organizations today to have a smoother integration and be at the forefront of this field. I will make, as I said, a very small introduction into each of the life cycles of the project management, because I'm pretty sure that within, even though that it is a mostly theoretically the session by me with some interactive activities and videos, I'm pretty sure that you can obtain 3 to 5 new things that you didn't know so far. I will start by asking rhetorically, is this project management skills essential? Well, isn't these skills that are yet another pointless layer of non-value-added bureaucracy, because we are doing also with a lot of administration stuff? Well, we do need project management skills, and the projects that we're actually implementing are projects that are the vehicles by which we delivering the strategy of our own organization. So you need to remember this. But what exactly, I have talked a lot about project management. What is exactly is this project management though, as a definition? Well, it is an application of different processes, methods, and skills, including knowledge and experience, to achieve specific project objectives according to the project acceptance criteria within, of course, the agreed parameters. Okay. I would like to state some obvious facts why the projects, they usually go bad. The majority here at the consortium, they are experts. So you probably experience or saw or observe those facts. However, dealing with different kind of projects during my career, there are so many methodologies that is not only European projects that I'm dealing with, that they use the predictive methodology. We also have software projects, that they have a different methodology. All right, they have a different standards they're gonna use, a different approach, like the canvas, like the agile approach, all right, like the XR experience, which are the extreme approach that the softwares. Can you listen to me? I think I had a problem with my speakers. Hello?
No, I can
We
hear
can
you
hear you.
properly.
Yes.
You can hear me.
Yes.
Very good.
Yes,
Very
yes. It
good.
was someone that entered and the audio, but we can hear you well.
Very good. Very good. Thank you very much. So, as going along with the projects, that go actually bad, the typical reasons that the project fails is the lack of alignment with the organization's strategic goals and their metrics, the insufficient ownership and leadership from the senior management, and of course, if we have limited project management and risk management expertise. And all those stuff, they have a result, these figures shown in the slide. Like 30% of projects will be shelved before they are even finished. 10% of the funds organizations spend on projects are wasted due to poor project performance. 78% of a pool of respondents of sample number of 600 reported that business is usually or always out of synchronization with the project requirements. So these kind of figures, they are coming from case studies that I have collected through my research all these years.
Can I ask something?
Yes, of course.
Can you come back?
Yes.
Okay, what do you mean by business is usually or always out of synchronization with project requirements?
Yes. Business, we meaning the business case of each project that we come up in the beginning of the initiation life cycle of a project. I will come back to the requirements because I will give emphasis because it's one of the critical major remarks that I have found from my experience, that it is not taken into account in most of the cases when we have a change request from a partner, let's say from the coordinator. Okay,
You
I will
mean
come
that-
back. I will come back to you.
Is that mean that the project requirements do not match with the needs of our organizations or the partners?
Yes, and also during the discussion between the consortium when you are discussing the project, okay, and you are actually defining the requirements from the proposal, let's say, okay, then you distract your focus, the scope of the project, you go out of the scope of the project because of this discussion that you had in the consortium. However, the initial proposal, the initial project scope with the requirements that you had in your scope, they are no longer synchronized with your organizational strategic objectives that was written in the proposal and that you accepted with your partnership agreement. Okay.
Okay, so it's both. It's the evolution and the changes of the project aims and activities along the duration of the project, and maybe also the initial one that are not really connected with your daily needs. Is it?
This is a part of it. This is a part of it. Okay. However, I would like to proceed because I think you're gonna find your answer
Yeah. Let's
throughout
go.
the
No
session.
worry. Thank you.
Now, we have many definitions for a project. However, the more not important, but the one that they endure throughout the years is through the PMI, the Prince2. The PMI states that a project, it is a temporary endeavor undertaken to create a unique project, service, or result. On the other hand, Prince2 defines that a project, it is a temporary organization that is created for the purpose of delivering one or more business products according to a specific business case. And then I come and I put them together and I provide you the one below, that a project, it is a temporary endeavor undertaken to create a unique product, service, or result. The temporary nature of a project indicates indefinite beginning and end. There is a beginning, start, and end always for a project. There is a temporary, does not necessarily mean a project has a short duration. A project ends is reached when the objectives have been achieved, or when the project is terminated because its objectives will not or cannot be met. So this is why in many projects they are cut off before they are ending. Or when the needs for the project no longer exist, which is the business case. So it doesn't exist. There is no value to the project in order to proceed with it. Then decision to terminate a project requires approval and authorization by an appropriate authority, which this is usually the national agency in our cases. If somebody is dealing with other kind of projects like a construction project, that has to do the sponsor, the investor. Now, in order to manage any kind of project, we only need two methodologies. One is to define the project life cycle, and the second is to define and actually implement the project management processes. Now, a project life cycle is what it is. It is a unique to each project, to an industry. For example, in pharmaceutical industry, we had a different kind of life cycle. And to your needs. For example, for the prime project, the project life cycles are different than different European projects. The life cycle can be highly customizable and can be predictive or agile. Okay, and I will give you now an example. For example, we want to see an example of how the human develops. We have the conceiving life cycle, then the childhood life cycle, teenagehood, adulthood, and then death. All right. Now, remember, there is no ideal life cycle for all the projects, okay? So you as a consortium, you need to discuss about it and actually put out in accordance to your milestones, have your life cycles in place. Now I will go now to very fast to the 5 process groups according to the Project Management Institute that are not customizable, okay? Because we are not referring to the agile methodology, but we are referring only to the predictive. As you know, because we do have the proposal in place that has been written by a group of partners, it is stated everything there. We might have some unclarifications that they need to be understood through participatory approach and collaboration through brainstorming and discussion. But we do have these 5 process groups that are solid. They're coming from the predictive methodology, which is the initiation, which is Here in the initiating process group, the project managers define the project scope, objectives, stakeholder expectations. All right, we have the planning. We create detailed project plans. We establish timelines. We allocate resources here and outline how the project will be executed, monitor, and control. We have the execution phase, where the project team works on the implementing the project plan by carrying out our task, and our role, to be honest, in the execution phase is monitoring and controlling. All right, monitoring controlling is meaning that we track the project's performance. We support our team in order to execute the dedicated task of each partner. And of course, we support the team by being and having the servant leadership mindset, okay? And last but not least, we have the closing phase, the closing process group, which is we formally close the project by assuring that all the project deliverables are completed, the stakeholders' expectation is met, and project documentation is archived for future reference. Okay. From experience, I have seen that many project managers in the European consortiums, they make one big mistake. Although we do have these 5 process groups here, okay, they confuse these process groups with the life cycles of the project. All right. So the right thing for the PM to have in mind is that those 5 process groups, initiation, planning, execution, monitor, controlling, closing, needs to be throughout the process, throughout the life of a project, throughout the life of one life cycle of the project. Now, in this slide, we can, I will speed up a little bit about here because it is known, but I have to mention it because it is also important. In any kind of project, cost and staffing levels, they typically start low, peak during the execution phase, and then rapidly here, and then they will rapidly decrease as the project nears completion. While the ability to influence the final characteristics of the product, let's say, without any significantly impacting cost is highest, as you can see here, at the project outset, but decreases as the project progresses towards its end. I said a little bit here. Now, this is in general project lifecycle structure that everybody needs to have in mind. We have the starting of the project, organizing and preparing lifecycle, carrying out the work, closing the project. In each of the end of life cycle, we have some deliverables. For example, one of the milestones of Prime, let's say, is the preparation of the project management handbook. All right, which it should be, let's say here. All right, so from this slide, I want you to pick 2 things. That we need to recognize the phases, the completion phases, because each phase has a specific deliverable or multiple deliverables that mark the end of the phase. And at the phase gates, if I have to talk about the MC square, which is the project management methodology that the European Commission promotes, we have the phase gates, meaning that when we get to the phase gate, we need to evaluate the deliverable. Are we gonna go to the next phase? Do we need to go back to our deliverable and make some modifications? Do we need to remain in the phase? Do we need to repeat the phase or test it? Okay, this is the most key elements that we need to remember when we, let's say, we assume that we deliver something to the partnership. Now, managing a project encompasses various essential aspects. This includes managing stakeholders' expectations to ensure that everything involved are aligned with the project goals and outcomes. Another critical element is to involve identifying project requirements, as we said previously, and Elisa comment on that, which lays the foundation for what needs to be achieved. Equally important, I have to say, that is the skill of balancing competing constraints such as time, budget, scope, which is the iron triangle of the project management, to ensure the project successfully delivery. And addressing the project communication needs, which are vital, as effective, since effective communication, it is a key to keeping stakeholders informed and engaged throughout the project lifecycle. I have to say that one of the major risks in any kind of project, it is the stakeholders engagement. I have a slide about that. I will go through it very quickly to go to the main aspects of the essential features for the digital tools. Now, given the potential changes and involvement requirements that I have said before, the development of the project management plan is an iterative activity. This is why we do have many documents in our Google Drive that usually the coordinator creates for the consortium, and we call them living documents because we need to go back to them and rearrange, review, modify, etc. some of the activities that we have already discussed and approved in the beginning. So this approach allows for adaptability and refinement as the project complexities and hinders become clearer, ensuring that the plan remains aligned with the project's evolving needs and objectives. In other words, I have to make it very simple. All those requirements that us as project managers need to have and take into consideration, it says one thing, that we need to do a lot of planning from the beginning. We need to make planning, we need to redo planning throughout the whole life cycles of a project. And how do we do that? Well, we do have a method about that, which is called the PDCA management approach, which is the plan, the do, the check, and the act, which is iterative throughout the life cycle of each stage of the project. And this happens, and it is a very good method because we can use it usually when we have a change request. And change request, as I said in few slides before, it is a request from a partner that it is not within the requirements that have been categorized, identified in the beginning of the project. Okay. So I would like now to ask you, this is a rhetorical question. What is your opinion on prevention versus correction? Well, I'm not expecting your answer here, but I have to say that it is a tricky question, all right? And the reply, I would say that even though the prevention aims to avoid problems before they occur, while correction addresses issues after they have happened, we need always to have in mind that usually the right answer will be a balanced approach between those two, okay, the best strategy. And this comes also from my experience. I will show you a very short 30 seconds video on how project actually works, which is the reality. Very good. So in the reality, according to our understanding from the proposal, it might differ from the actual result that we're gonna have at the end of the project. So we always need to have that in mind. Everything it is possible. Now, I will go through very fast through the different kind of the processes that I have mentioned in the beginning, and I will provide also the templates for everybody to use and have them in your own folders and use it when possible or whatever you need in any kind of project. I will start with the initiation process group, that the deliverables of this initial group are two: the development of the project charter and also the identification of the stakeholders. Now, the project charter, it is a fairly simple document outlining a few things, especially when you are finding an answer to why you are doing what you are doing, and it is not a detailed one. In this document, we need to prepare. We need also usually to have an approval, okay, before continuing through the planning phase. Now, for example, if I want to expand to an early market, but the leadership team or investors are not convinced, they're gonna kill it, our proposal. So in order to avoid any time losses, we prepare this project charter. Now, the identification of the stakeholders. In this document, we actually register all the potential stakeholders that could have an influence in any kind to our project processes, impact, and etc. This also includes the project management core team, which are the actually implementers and executioners of the project and project managers. Okay, this is something that many they do not understand. Now, in the project chapter, found here that it is downloadable, and also the stakeholders, the registry template, that it is downloadable. Somebody will find an overview, then goal, the objectives, the benefits, success criteria, assumptions, the scope, which entails the major deliverables of a project, the stakeholders, the risks, authorities, communication, approval constraints, etc. So one tool that I would suggest to all the consortiums for everybody is the preparation of a similar document like the project charter in order to map out and have an outliner of a project. This will be very crucial because you're gonna take any kind of information and put it into your, I don't know, your deliverable that you're gonna use it later on. But you need to prepare this in the beginning during the initiation phase. Just gonna show you an example. Not here, this one. Let's go back. Anyways, I have all the templates and they will be distributed to all the participants after the finalization of the training today. Now going to the project planning process group, is a lot here. We need to have a more details and comprehensive what we're gonna do in the initiation process. We will talk here a lot about knowledge areas and details that the PMI has. I will not go into details in this session. I will just say a few of them. That in this planning process, we need to find answer to three main questions. What are we going to do? How we're gonna go? How we're gonna do it? And how to know when the project is done? It is done. Okay, this is the most important three questions during this process group. And one thing that you have to understand, each phase life cycle has a deliverable. In this case, somebody will say that the deliverable, it is the project handbook. In other way, it is called also project management plan. In the project plan, we do have some parameters that we need to take into consideration, and I need to point out for all the project managers, which are the project requirements, defining the scope, the WBS, which is the work breakdown structure, the schedule, the budget quality, and many other knowledge that will not give emphasis, which are the procurements, HR stuff, and so on. Now, in regards to the requirements, because I know from experience it is a critical remark, I will start by an example. For instance, if my wife comes and asks me, Konstantinos, it is time to buy a new car. Of course, in my mind, I will go directly, because I like cars, directly to the Porsche 911 GT3, which costs a lot of money. Now, and this I would say without taking into account the family budget, the needs or maintenance expenses. Okay, it is the same as asking in the project management context here. What the actual partnership consortium, the proposal wants from us, and of course, what they will, they will shoot to the moon. Now, if I go to the slide here, you can see the requirements traceability matrix, which is another tool that a project management manager can use. This matrix helps to keep track of project requirements and making sure that are clear, complete, and linked to various project components. Okay. Now, I will also suggest few methods that I actually implement during my requirements collection, which is the mapping tool. It is an Excel sheet table with the outliner of the proposal, and then I provide all the requirements from each work package. It is through a one-on-one interview that I go and ask each partner, what exactly do you mean here? the other partner, what exactly do you mean here in your work package? What is my actual contribution, our team contribution here? There is the Delphi technique, all right, which provides great and close to reality results, but it's very consuming because it involves a lot of iterations. I will provide a link to this Delphi technique. It will be very interesting for somebody to provide me also feedback about that. But my favorite one technique that I use is I bring everybody together like a group meeting, and then I facilitate the meeting and I ask certain questions, and they have to deal with them, discuss about them, and they will provide me all the requirements at the end without wasting a lot of time at the end. Now, as I said before, one of the major tasks that project managers need to do during the planning phase is the WBS. The WBS, it is indispensable tool, and this is why I incorporated into our training session today. It is important because it helps us and the team to effectively plan, manage, and execute our projects. The importance of this lies on the fact that it provides a framework, and it put us in boundaries of what has to be delivered. Into the next slide, I will provide an example. This is a WBS example, okay? And I will suggest that when we're using any kind of tool, a digital tool or a hard low-tech tool to do the WBS, I will definitely, me personally, would go to the whiteboard and prepare this WBS. Okay, go to the whiteboard or in Canvas online, and you develop this WBS with all the decomposition of all your processes and the activities, and then you discuss it again, you modify it until you end up and you have clarified everything. But of course, there are some rules of thumbs in constructing WBS. One rule of thumb is that each activity cannot be larger than 80 hours. And we cannot break activities that are less than 8 hours. And this rule of thumb came from a formula via a research article that I found, and also confirmed that with fellow project management members in the PMI charter in Cyprus. Well, of course, it is without saying that the one that prepares the WBS, it should be us, but we need to have a contribution for all the PM core team, which might be the development team, might be the IT team, might be the administration, might be a trainer, might be a researcher. Okay, so and we have this called 100% rule for the WBS as well, that when all levels of the work breakdown structure are rolled up, you should end up with the project level and no work should be left outside. So no further unclear requirements. We need to know everything and in detail, okay, in order to proceed. Otherwise, we do not proceed. Have this in mind though. This happens only in predictive methodology for the projects, okay, the European projects, okay. There are other methodologies that are, for example, the adaptive one from, let's say, Prince 2, that they are using sprints an incremental approach, which is a different kind of approach, okay? But for this reason, for this training session, and for the European projects, that we prepare the proposal and we have everything set, it is recommended to go with the predictive. Now, even though that in the predictive we have the majority of the requirements, sometimes some activities they are not clear. And from our part, we are not familiar with how much time does it actually take to complete an activity, okay? And remember, it is very important to know the time and effort, all right? Because the time effort, it links to the cost, all right? And it is everything, as the iron triangle said of the PM, is the budget, the time, the scope, and we have the quality in the middle. So some tools and techniques that can be employed to achieve accurate estimations for the time are the following. For example, we're asking experts, their experience. I call Mihaly, hey Mihaly, what do you think about this activity? Should I take into account the capacity of my team as well? Yes, very good. From historical data meaning that we have already done a project that are similar to the project that we're currently running. So we estimate, okay, usually it took me that year that I wasn't using digital tools. It took me 8 hours to complete this work package. So I will compare. Of course, I'm gonna add some extra time, okay? Now, we have the analogous estimation that it compares the task in question to other tasks with similar characteristics, and the PERT. The PERT is the most famous and popular among the project managers, to be honest. Okay, which is a probabilistic technique that considers 3-time estimation for each task: the optimistic, the pessimistic, and the most likely. I will show you, this is the formula that all the project manager needs to know, okay, or to be familiar with, because as I said, not all the activities we know about and we know how to estimate the time effort. So we go with this approach, with this technique, which is an average of the optimistic, pessimistic, and most likely, calculated using the formula below, divided by 6, okay? And we also have the standard deviation, all right? Now, this, I will show you the next here. This is an example, but before going to that example, I have to say that using the right tools, the right techniques to estimate the time that will link to the cost. It will also help us to identify the critical path, all right, which is another definition for the project managers to be familiar with, all right, and of course understand which activities can be delayed without affecting the project's overall timeline. And there are specific definitions about that, float or slack activities. I will show you an example. This is an example of the of how we actually calculate all the activities, let's say in a work package. And as you can see, there are predecessors, okay, that are linked. All right, some of them are not linked. The optimistics are different. We do the calculation and we come up with a number over here, 25, 29, and then we divide them by 6. The formula, of course, it is derived from an article, a research article. It is well known in the PM arena. Now, divided by 6, we get a human days, all right? And by getting these human days, we're gonna use this human days, this time estimation, in order to construct our Gantt chart. All right, our Gantt chart. Before going though to the Gantt chart, I have to stay to the standard deviation. If somebody doesn't know standard deviation, it has a statistical measure that quantifies the amount of variation in a set of data point, okay? Meaning that indicates the degree of uncertainty. If we think about the uncertainty and constraints, it is the degree of uncertainty or the typical distance between individual data points and the mean. Now, a big standard deviation indicates a low likelihood of achieving the expected cost on duration. Okay, this is why it is very important to make a very good planning and this tool to be used by all the PMs in all your projects. Now, of course, to speed up the procedure, we need to involve experts, all right, in order to have it more accurate, all right, and you reduce, of course, project risk and uncertainties. Always experts, it is one of the solutions to have in mind. This is the diagram that somebody can actually do it using a digital tool, or as I said, I definitely prefer to do it in the whiteboard, okay, for each work package. This sequence, it defines the logical sequence of work to obtain the greatest efficiency, which is the optimization from the start to the beginning. And as you can see here, there are 4.17 days to do the activity A, another 6, 3, 4, 5, etc. And then we go to the activity E. But however, in order to find the critical path, we need to take the activity with the longer amount of days, which is the 6 days. All right. So we're gonna take 4, 6, 7, and then it is the end. And this is the critical path. I will also explain here the critical path because it is used in the Gantt chart. Now, time estimation, it is very important, as I said, to meet your own deadlines and be within the budget. For this reason, we have the Gantt chart that we prepare in all projects during the proposal submission. Sorry. So, a Gantt chart, it is a visual project management tool that uses horizontal bars to represent project tasks and their duration over time. It helps us to plan, track progress, and manage resources effectively. This chart also shows some names, starts, and dates. Dates it doesn't show here, but usually it does. All right, and it is widely used in various industries for project planning communication. So this tool, it is very useful for everybody to use if somebody doesn't know about it. Now, the critical path in a project, it is the longest sequence of dependent activities that determines the total time required for the project. So in this case, we have this activity, this activity, this activity, and this activity. So the critical path of our, let's say, set of activity A in this slide is going to be this 10 days, and then we continue to this and this. So this is not included into the critical path. This is something that I usually discuss it in a European consortium when I talk about critical path, and when we need to take into consideration some requirements, some facts, you need to take critical decisions about the time. For instance, some partner wants to move the deliverable of one of the work packages after the summer. In order to do that, we need to go back here. We need to check out the critical path. Okay, guys, we need to see how does it actually impact the whole project. Okay, are there gonna be other kind of impacts? What kind of risks are we gonna have? And then we're gonna take the decision. Now, as I said, in a critical path and in each activities, we have the so-called slack activities and the float activities. The slack activities are called when we have this obsession over here, meaning that this activity can be postponed, all right, can be postponed. Let's say, what is it, 9? If this is 9, can be postponed another 4 days. And this will not affect the project deliverables, budget, and timeline. So it is okay to take this is in regards to the risk, it is a minor risk. All right, go now. If we want, in a case we want to accelerate now the project completion, what do we do? There is a certain definition about the project completion if we want to accelerate it. It is called project crashing. In order to do that, we need to allocate first. We need to allocate either more resources to a specific task in order to speed up the procedure of completion, or delegate it and outsource it. Okay, which has to links, of course, with the budget. All right, always, if we want to accelerate something, we need to ask for more resources, more budget. Resources can be more people, okay, more employees, not only budget. Now, I will go fast to the execution, which is the monitoring control. Now, the execution phase involves carrying out the plan that was developed during the planning phase. Now, the monitoring control phase is critical to the success of the project, and it helps us in realigning activities with the project aims. Now, the primary purpose of the monitoring control is to identify any kind of problems before they occur and make any kind of adjustments. This is the phase where we're gonna have changes request. This is the phase that we're gonna have them. So we need to think ahead of them, prepare our risk management plan, and actually execute it. Okay, and remember, during the project monitoring control, we are essentially we need to have the project on time, on budget, and within the scope. Of course, without saying, in order to do that, we need to have a perfect communication, all right, with all our employees, with all the partners, with all the stakeholders. Okay, it is very crucial. Stakeholders engagement, I say again, it is one of the highest risks that I found in a project, running any kind of project. Now, a project not owner, but a project sponsor or a manager, a program manager, let's say, or a consortium manager, coordinator, ask from the partners or the employees, his employees, what is the status of the project? So throughout my experience and talking with other European partners, I haven't yet come across the satisfactory, let's say, status. Now, throughout my research and certification in project management, etc., this is the way. So in this section, we are learning about the formulas, particularly cost and scheduling formulas under the topic of earned value management. Now, earned value manage or EVM is basically a series that's gonna give you the status of the project. Are you gonna, and then from there you're gonna see, is the project over budget? Are you under budget? Are you ahead of schedule? Are you behind of schedule? What's gonna be the forecast budget when the project ends? Okay, so through those formulas, especially for the coordinator of any kind of European project, they need to be familiar with, because when you go to the digital tools and use them, in those digital tools, they are embedded those kind of initials or those kind of terms. So you need to interpret them, all right, in order to explain it and also provide supportive documents to the national agency and the other partners as well. But of course, in being a professional project manager, I always suggest always to study more, and become members of a community with throughout a long life learning, and this kind of stuff they are coming up if you are continuously learning in the arena of the project management. So the EVM earned value compares the planned work to the actual work that we have already done. So in order to have actual work, you need to have executed the project. I mean, the project activity or the work package. Now, we need to keep in mind the thing that is called EVM again, that if you calculate correctly, then you are on good grounds. Because if it is not calculated correctly, then everything else is going to be a chain of errors. And then the interpretation will be totally different. Also, highlight that you should remember these formulas as integrated in any digital software that an organization uses. Either that it is a teamwork, either that it is a project Microsoft, okay? Either that it is a Monday. You need to actually interpret them and negotiate potentially with your sponsors, either that it is a national agency or other consortium partners. And now coming to the last project lifecycle, the closing phase. It is the final stage where the project lifecycle is formally concluded and the deliverables are handed over to the stakeholders. This phase is essentially to ensure that all project objectives have been achieved and the project has been successfully completed. Now, here we review all the aspects of the project, from the requirements to confirm that everything has been done according to our plan, right? And we need to end this with our project team in an end review meeting. Remember this. And of course, the closure of a project marks the end of the project phase, and it paves the way for the operations mode to begin. For example, we hand out the project archives documents. If we do have a PMO in our organization, which is the project management office, then we're gonna hand out those archived documents and whatever documents that we have, deliverables we have collected, we're gonna hand them to them, and they are responsible to, with the learned lessons that the consortium prepared and each partner in their perspective doing the actual work, and the PMO office, they are responsible to distribute the learned lessons across your organization. Okay. Now, very good. So this was the first session of very good crash course about the project management that I found through my experience, some tools and techniques that are very good to have in mind and be able to understand and communicate if you are talking with a fellow PM in a PM meeting online or in person. Now we'll proceed with the project management tools and examples and benefits. So what are project management tools? Why should we use project management tools while doing project management? Well, it is very easy. The project management tools help us to keep a streamlined flow in the project management processes. And of course, these tools help the team or an individual to carry out the steps of PM effectively and efficiently. Some examples of those project management tools is the Asana, the Trello, the Teamwork, the Jira software, and the Monday.com. The practical aspect of today's training session will be provided by my colleague, Anna. Here I will state and I will proceed to the benefits of those project management tools, because we need to understand the benefits and then see a little bit of how do we select a tool. Okay, so now some of the benefits of using any kind of project management tool is the organization. It keeps all the task deadlines, documents in one easy to access place. Another benefit is the efficiency that we have. Streamlines planning, scheduling. It saves time, it reduces errors. It has even optimizations. Even those formulas that I said, the EVM, it should have them. And when you prepare your status report, you should have them illustrated in the graphs instead of text. Now, other PM tools, other benefits, they promote collaboration. For example, it enhances communication among the team members, making it easier to work together. It has a tracking system. Of course, it provides clear visibility into the progress and performance of the project. And the last but not least benefit that the PM tool, digital one, can provide is the resource management. It helps allocate manpower and materials effectively, ensuring no over or underutilization. Now, how do we choose a project management tool? Well, in the age of knowledge abundance, I would say it is inevitable to raise the question of which project management tool is right for me or my project or my organization. However, any kind of project management tool, they should have minimum fulfillments, like features and functionalities that are shown in this slide. Of course, they should be simple to use, user-friendly, and they need to be, I would say, suitable for your project. Therefore, going through around the several digital tools that they have in the market right now, you should find a tool that will have a pleasant interface and increase work productivity. And it is very important, guys. Simple to use, very, very important. Now, it needs to be customizable. This means that the tool must be easy to configure according to organizational needs. Every PM approach, every template, every artifact needs tailoring and adaptation before adapting as part of the practice. There are business patterns that change every day, so having a customizable tool it is an added advantage to have that in mind. Now, API, integration possibility. APIs enables the sharing of data and applications between devices. The tools with API integration allow seamless connectivity amongst the teams. And this is one of the features that the PM should definitely know before purchasing or going for a specific PM tool. The other three is to facilitate collaboration, the risk analysis, and real-time reporting. I will stick to the risk analysis because the risk analysis, it helps to identify, analyze, and respond to the risk quickly, efficiently. It needs this PM tool with these risk analysis capabilities to capture all the details of the risks, their impact, their probability, their risk responses, and of course, tracking them throughout the project life cycle. So that was all from me, guys. Thank you very much for listening to me. It is time for a break. Before going to the break, I will share my thought about the PM tools. In my opinion, I will say that we need to go low tech, high touch. Okay, and this is from experience that it worked for me. Low tech meaning that it is okay to use even a whiteboard as long as it is very simple and user friendly. And high touch, we need to be able to use it in the optimal manner to achieve our objectives. Okay, thank you very much.
Oh, or Trello. I don't know what is the correct translation. Also, Trello in Greek it means crazy. So I am biased by this, and I like it more. My personal opinion. So I don't know. Probably you know it, most of you, because we have referred to it during our meeting in France. Here are some pros that I have from my experience, but also what I found online. First of all, it's very user-friendly. It's simple, it's not something very complicated, and you can do your job and the project management in general in very simple steps. It's a visual organization. For example, you can use board, lists, cards in a visual way that if you are a visual person like me, for example, it's very handy. If I see something that it's red, I know, for example, that it's emergency. If I see something like it's blue, it calms me up. It calms me up, and I know that it's okay to leave it from behind. So it has this visual, and you can change the colors, the fonts, to keep it more organized and how you would like to have it. Also, it's there is the customization function. You can customize it and use it as you would like in order to be according your way of thinking and mindset. It's a cross-platform access, which means that it's available web, but also in your phone. There is either if you have iOS or Android, you can download it, and it's handy. Integration capabilities. Trello integrates with a wide range of third-party tools such as Google Drive, Slack, Jira. So if we have Trello, it means that we can have embedded other tools that we use anyways in our project, like Google Drive, and it's free. The most important is free. Now, some cons that I found, there is limited complexity, which means that for a larger project with the intricate workflows might require more robust and future-rich project management. I don't know if that it's a problem for us because our project, I think we know the things that we have to do, and it's this. So to have it in more simpler way, it's more pro than con, for my opinion. There is some limitations for projects that have tasks relying on each other. This means, for example, that if this task is not happening, it means that this task it can happen as well. So there is no this thing. Each task is individual. It's not like a chain. There is no the function for reporting and analytics. I don't know if we need them in terms of dissemination of quality assurance, but we can have it with Trello. And also, we can have things like time tracking, resource management, or Gantt chart. But otherwise, we have Gantt chart, for example, in the Google Drive, so we can use it with this. So that was Trello. Now going forward is Scrum. I don't know if some people you have heard about it. Personally, I don't have a lot of experience with Scrum. I just know it. I didn't work in it, but more or less the prompts are the same like Trello. For example, it's a good team collaboration. We can work at the same time, all the group. There is continued improvement, so there are new functions every time, which can help us in our project management life cycle. There is a function of risk management. So we can put the risk that we have for our project and see how we can manage it. There is customer satisfaction. So since there is continuous improvement, there is also feedback, and if we don't like something, we can change it. And to don't be repetitive, it's more or less like Trello. Now some cons. Lack of detailed documentation. As I went through the website, there are no such as big details things. If we are more detailed person, it simplifies it a lot. It's not suitable for all projects like Trello. If we want some more clarification or some things in detail, it's not like this. And limited role for project managers. As I search for it and I make a small research, it's not in a traditional way that the role of project manager will do. Apparently, the Scrum will do it by itself, and it's less work for us, so it works more independently. And this might be tricky because maybe we don't know how to handle like the automation in some functions and the way that we want to do it as project managers. That was Scrum. Now is Padlet, my favorite Padlet. Most of you probably know it is like Jamboard, and we can use it not only as a project management tool, but also if we have presentation during the years of the project, for example, a multiplier event, a focus group, or something to make it more interactive, we can use Padlet and ask the opinion of the other person. I'm sure you know more or less what is about in the function that you can do. The most important is a very accessible for all kind of users. There is also the customization, embedding, so you can embed blogs, website, photos, videos, everything. It's very flexible, and you can use it for brainstorming, for collaboration, for project planning as we want it now, or to share content. And some cons, the free version, it's free, but the free version is limited. So if we want something more extra, we have to pay about it. And for this way, there is storage limitation. So we can't have as much Padlet as we want. And also the exporting limitation, they are there. So if we use the free version, we can use Padlet for a limited purposes. Now moving forward, Mentimeter. I also like it and I use it when I am doing events for project, and also when I have different kind of users, different kind of target group of users. For example, youngsters or seniors or youth workers, everything, because it's catchy. You can do vision board. You can do questionnaire, like a survey. You can do quiz. You can do word cloud, everything. Again, with the customization that we like, with the accessibility that we seek on, and also there is integration with presentation software such as Microsoft PowerPoint, so we can use it also embedded Microsoft PowerPoint. Some cons, we have to have internet, like most of the softwares, in order to be connected. Again, there are free version limitation because we have the free version, and there is some offline functionality, but it's again limited, and limited collaboration features. And here I found that it's potential for distraction, which means depending on the audience and the presentation context, excessive interactivity may lead to distraction. But this is something that we can handle it as a project managers and as a people who will make the mentee meter how energetic or fluffy or whatever it can be, so we don't get distracted, so the people and the user will not get very distracted. That was my presentation. I don't know more or less if you know some tools, but I tried to find the most user-friendly ones and the cheap, the free ones.